Thanks for joining Sales with Suli, a mom of three who spent the last 12 summers knocking doors. Welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things women, the ups and downs of my journey, and what it takes to find success on and off the doors. Enjoy this episode. Hey, welcome back, friends, to this week's episode. I'm kind of excited. I've kind of watched these two ladies just through social media and behind the scenes, and I kind of wanted to bring them to the forefront. They both are married to really successful, dominant male leaders here in the industry, and I know that a few of you have reached out about either your first year being in door-to-door as a spouse or significant other, or have just had multiple years and kind of just struggling with your identity and just the different things that you're trying to overcome as you don't want to be in the shadow necessarily of your husband. But we're going to go ahead and introduce Kasey. So Kasey is someone that I had only known through social media at the previous company we had worked with, just kind of seeing some of the things that her husband has done and always being like on the leaderboards and stuff like that. But watching this girl just basically have her own identity behind the scenes was kind of something like so fascinating to me. And so I'm going to let her just kind of, Kasey, just introduce yourself and tell us a little background about you and how you met and how you guys got into the door-to-door space.
Thank you, Suli. First off, because you introduced me, my husband began at a different company, but when we had moved over to the previous pest control company, that's when I learned about Suli. And I remember being at award ceremonies, and I would look over at her and her family, and I'm like, this woman is special.
You are so cute.
She was amazing. But
thanks, Kasey.
You're welcome. Anyways, Austin and I, we met in Utah. We were serving missions for our church.
I totally spaced. Did you two serve in the same mission?
We did.
Stop it.
We did, yeah.
That's awesome.
Fussing Utahns.
I know. We were missionaries in the same mission, and I actually had a guy waiting for me at home.
No. Kasey, of course you would.
Austin, right?
She's cute.
Austin was my assistant. Well, he was the assistant to the mission president, and he was the assistant for the majority of his mission. And I served in leadership as well, and so we were around each other a lot. I got to see what kind of missionary he was. He was incredibly hardworking.
Oh, I can see that.
He was hardworking. He's a rule follower.
I can see that too.
He's a rule follower. And I just remember whenever I got home and things didn't work out with that other guy, we were just so different by the time I got home. But Austin actually hit me up on Facebook. He was like,
"Hey, slid in your DMs.
Are you still reading your scriptures?" And I just remember, like, whenever he asked me on a date, it was an easy yes, just because I knew what kind of person he was already.
Yeah.
And it was like, after our first date, I knew Austin was going to be my husband.
Really? Wow, that's like a first love.
That's cute.
I knew he was going to be my husband. He was different from other guys, and it was just easy to talk to him, and our values aligned. We're very different people, but our values do align. And
I love that. Honestly, that you said that your values align, but you guys are different, because that's how I feel about Walter and I. We are furthest from the same, but the only things we have in common are our values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we are too. We both are so
Mega's
different.
like,
So different.
It works though.
But
I feel
then
like
it's
that's
like,
how it works.
It's the base is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
foundation.
Yeah. So it's awesome.
Austin was actually doing sales. He was leaving for sales after our first date.
Oh.
He let me know, hey, I'm leaving for sales. He was going to go sell pest control in North Carolina. And in my head, I was like, dang it. Like, I would have gotten this one so easy.
This would have been an easy close.
But he told me he was leaving, and it was crazy. He was killing it. He was the top rookie in that company, and he would stay up till 4 a.m. talking to me on the phone, just getting to know me. And he was also training CrossFit at the time. Like, he was a really big go-getter. And I knew that about him, as I said, like from our missions.
Yeah.
I saw what kind of person he was. And I was thinking about it this morning, how we had essentially dated long distance for a while. And all those phone conversations, like those in the middle of the night, I don't even know how he was selling.
Like hours.
He was running on love, honestly.
How are you guys dealing with that? I mean, you guys were just dating at this time, and he was going and slaying it while you were over here just, thinking about him. And
yeah, I'm still keeping busy. Like, I'm a very autonomous person. I value my me time. And I mean, I was just working at the time. I was enjoying my time being single, hanging out with friends. I really loved hanging out with my girlfriends, and I still do to this day. Like, being married and being a mom is no excuse to stop hanging out with your friends and checking in on them. But I was just living my life in Utah, waiting for Austin. He came and visited me a couple times, and that was fun. But I just remember all those conversations we had on the phone, like reflecting on those. We're still on track for those goals that we set before.
Wow.
His character hasn't deviated from those conversations. My character hasn't deviated from those conversations. And even though it was long distance, it worked. And he got home. We dated for a year, and then
you guys dated for a full year.
I know, crazy, right?
Wow, good for you two.
How long is the long distance relationship?
That was just for the summer.
Okay.
And then we dated for a full year. And it was crazy because when we got engaged, he was about to leave for another summer. And I was like, no, we're not going to be apart. So we were engaged for only 3 weeks.
And then like really quickly.
Yeah, and that's kind of the foundation of our marriage. It's just chaotic.
Yes.
It's hop in the
Summer
car.
started. Let's pack everything up and let's get the heck on the road to get to area.
Hop in the car, hop on the plane, let's go. And
I'm just thinking about all the women that I know right now who are literally packing up their cars, have literally just gotten married right before the summer starts because they want to make sure they can sleep in the same room before the summer starts. And it's just the same exact thing as Kasey's like, okay, let's get married. We're not going to be apart. We're going to go out and none of these long phone calls. Like, let's just stuff everything in the back of the trunk and get out of there.
Why wait it if you already know?
Yeah. True. She's like, okay, so how many years have you been in door-to-door now? Are you guys been in door?
So Austin has been in door-to-door for 7 years.
Wow.
I've been in it with him for 6.
Okay, so you've been dealing with it a lot. Awesome. We're going to come back to that. And then Mega, I remember we went on a company trip a few months back and just sitting down and having like a couple treats with Mega and her husband. So her husband is the CEO of Pure Energy. And a lot of times when you look at really successful people in the door-to-door space or just in life in general, most times you get like the stigma of stuck up or, just too cool and different things like that. And I remember the first time even just meeting Justin and seeing like how furthest from the truth that was, that he was one of the most normal human beings you can ever, like, you would never even know. And I remember sitting down with like Mega and just thinking like the same exact thing. I was like, I love, and for those of you guys who don't watch this episode on YouTube, like I am just so fascinated by minorities in this space who just don't make excuses for things. And so like sitting down with like Mega and just her talking to me about her life and her kids and things like that, I am like, what a fascinating human, that it could be so easy for us to hire people to do this, hire people to do that, hire people to do this. And so I'm excited to kind of have, someone up there with where people think that the status is a lot higher or above us or whatnot. But just how down to earth like people up there really can be. And so Mega, tell us a little bit about you, how you guys met and how you got into this space.
We've been married 12 years this summer. And we've only been together for 1 year and got married.
Okay.
Yes, it's like really quick. We met online actually. Justin just moved.
What? Which online website?
It's Match.com.
Match.com, guys. There's good things that happen on there for those of you guys still looking.
So we met like his first day, and he just moved to San Antonio. I think he was moved from either Georgia, from Atlanta, if I'm not wrong. So, because profile picture is totally different when you show up at the
Did
door.
he have a good profile picture?
His profile picture was a college profile picture.
So it wasn't even a current one.
So his hair was like short, like spiky back then, and then he showed up with longer hair, and then with his Honda Civic, the 2-door, and all his stuff literally in the car.
Why?
Because he just moved in. He still lived in the hotel. And in my mind, okay, I was a single mom when I met Justin. I was married young. I got married at 19, and we got divorced a year after. And I had babies then. So when
How many babies did you have at that time?
I only have one. My oldest one is 17.
You just got more fascinating to me.
Yeah. So when I met with Justin, she was 3. And so here I am getting in his car and full of stuff in his car. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get kidnapped. Like, I mean, the guy it was a short hair, right? And then he showed up long hair and a car full of stuff. I'm like, and I'm a single mom. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to text my friend. And I told her, say, text me in an hour, just to make sure. And call me, say that me is sick or something. I have to go home. So we went to eat, and he called me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna go home now?
But that's so funny, like dropping my location
Exactly.
at the time.
Yes. I mean, I'm a single mom. I have a daughter. So, but he was a great guy. So we becoming friends first for a long time. And then from friends, he come more often. He's really good with my daughter. And I'm very, very protective to my daughter. I never bring any guy around my daughter when I'm dating, ever. So, but Justin was my friend. So, like we hang out. We have Easter egg hunt and stuff, but he was just friend. But I saw him so good with my daughter, like interact with her. And I'm like, oh, this is the guy, like, so from there we just, I don't know how, we've been exclusive, we would date. And then, of course,
So he wasn't sending his profile picture to anyone else, and you weren't sending yours to anyone else, or like swiping?
We just canceled after that thing, our match.
Stop the subscription.
Yeah, before we charge next month, Let's do the free trial only, 30 days, so we don't have to get charged. But after that, we move in really fast. He's always in my apartment every night. He had his own apartment by then, and he was in alarm business then. He just started his alarm business.
And this was 12 years ago.
It was 12 years ago, and it was hard. I tried to help him as I could. He had, of course, he was young, so show up with nice apartment, and I was like, you're starting a new business, like dumping all this money, But it was like fast dating. Like, he's always in my house every night, and then go knock doors during the day.
Why is this so common in door to door? We just do things quick and let's
and
get to
then
the next
after
thing.
that, I was like, next thing I know, we of course we had a little accident. Like, I was pregnant. So he's a Mormon. I'm not. My background is Muslim. So
I don't think that's like an accident, though. I guess it's perspective.
but
like whoever thinks it's an accident.
Funny because after I learned about Mormon, we're not that different. My religious and Mormon is literally almost the same.
Wow.
Like what we believe. So, like I say, the foundation
It's the same values.
Yes,
I love
value.
that.
Even though I'm not active, but I know what I believe.
Yeah.
And then Justin,
So does he.
Yeah. So we want the girls
to just have like that base, have a foundation, and make their own decisions from there.
And either you want to be Mormon when you grow up, you go for it. If you want to be Muslim, it's your choice. But
or they might want to be Jewish.
Hey,
or they might want to be
free country.
agnostic.
Yeah, it's free country. So, because I feel bad because I was pregnant, but he's a Mormon, so I'm like, what? And so he's like, let's just get married. And I was like, okay, well, we'll get married real fast. But then, some of the family got upset. Yeah. So some family got upset we didn't get invited. They didn't invite us. Like, I didn't know your family yet. But here you go, 12 years later, right? We'll get married. It's hard because he did alarm for a long time. Of course, moving, like company, a lot of them too. And I worked with him with Protection One. I was in the office girl.
Oh, okay.
But when we start our alarm,
Did you take the baby with you while you were working, or you got to do it from home, like you were
From
answering
home.
calls and stuff?
I
That's
did.
cool.
But when he started, before even with P1, we started our own alarm system. I was that girl, the office girl, running the credit check, the signal, and calling all. Yes, I was one person. Right now, it's like 10 people work with us. I is only one.
Oh my
I
gosh.
wake up at 6, go to bed at 2 because they're still installing. So you just
Wait, Justin
signal.
was installing too?
Well, he started with install and then sales.
Got it.
But like all the installer didn't install like until late night, and they have to call me for signal. So I was the one that checking signal, run credit, application,
all at the same time. Like, how
person.
many of you women out there are in relationships and helping in the office or doing like all those things? Like, I actually told like my company that they were gonna have to choose between my husband, who was like the top technician, the one who sprayed, and they were gonna choose between me, who was managing a team, because we weren't both working for the same company. And of course, Walter stopped.
Yeah, it was kind of hard. And then I'm very particular on work, like paperwork. I need like, I'm OCD. I used to work for the apartment, and I had to quit, help Justin with his alarm because there's no one to run the back office. So I was like, I quit, so I could help you out. So that's what I did. So I haven't been working for so long, but I've been in his office before. But
how much was he paying you back then, really?
it's like 0.
And all of us spouses doing it for the labor of love, right? Like just for the sake.
Hours.
Yes.
And then as they have to take care of babies, being pregnant and all this, dropping up kid. And then he's traveled too. And sometimes it's like, I can't. I have this kid, so we come visit. Either he come home or I go there. We're in Colleen, so we just back and forth. I'm up to the point I know the road.
I'm glad that we have two like really big comparisons. Like, you are so involved in like working in the office, getting everything's done, all the labor of love, because a lot of times that's what ends up happening, especially for women who are married to like male managers on the team. It's just like the spouse ends up being the assistant. They end up being something, and sometimes it can be a hindrance. And like, I know for me, like, I am so grateful for my husband and that he's opposite, because sometimes I take it out like on him too. Yeah. Do you feel like you guys still had a good balance, or do you felt like you were also kind of similar to Walter, where he was like, my bag to yell at too?
Well, I separate myself. When we're working, I am me. I'm not his wife. Because paperwork. When they not filled out, they're even gonna get paid. Yeah. Okay, I want my rep to get paid. Okay. And then who's gonna get yelled if I didn't do it right? I am. Where's my pay? It's like, you didn't fill up everything. So I was mega. I wasn't just a wife.
I love that.
So I did like, nope, I don't want this paper because no signature. Send it back. Go back to the customer house. Yes. And it's like, well, just send it out, and then they will figure out.
Yeah, you wanted to make sure they were going to get paid on Friday.
Exactly.
Like, you were concerned about them not like yelling at Justin later or this, that, and the other about not getting paid.
And then it would be me, right? It's like, oh, you didn't do it. So I was like, no, I did. I didn't send it because y'all didn't finish your paper. So
I love that you were
I always
so on top of
separate myself until I have our third babies. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done.
I'm done. I can't do this anymore because it's hard doing paperwork, shipping everything, like the contract and stuff. And so I just can't do it.
Yeah, you had to be you.
The thing is, you have to be home. Yeah. And I have to pick up my kids from school and drop them off to after school activities. I don't have time.
To also make sure payroll and everything is done. Like, and at the end of the day, they're gonna figure it out.
And then we move in companies. I mean, you guys know when door knocking, it's gonna be not one company you work for. Yeah. It's gonna be several companies. Yeah. So, and then we start solar, of course, and then Justin have this drive. Why do I want to make people money? I want to make my own money. Yeah. So he started his own. It is hard, late night, traveling, like I'm alone. I'm the one holding the house.
Holding the fort down.
Yep. And he just out there hustling. I'm home hustling with my kids.
Yeah. And I think people forget that. They're like at home, like when people say that I'm just a mom, or when people say that, oh, I'm just married to so and so, like I
I'm a stay-at-home
cringe.
mom.
Yeah, or I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like I look at Walter and I look at like those of us spouses who are behind the scenes, the long hours, the picking up crap, the doing this, the being our therapist, all this stuff. Like women, Aniston.
Perfect timing.
Yes, it's gonna be your turn, sissy.
It is hard, because I was sick, and then Justin took over like half a day, not all day. Just I already lined up everything. Here's you go. You have to pick them up this hour and drop them. I already have everything packed up and stuff. And he, not even one day, not full all day, half a day. He said, "I can't do your job. I'm sorry.
That's
this
me
is too
at home."
much. Driving all the way 30 minutes out there in the dirt road, I can't.
Yeah.
And then we have to go back and pick them up later tonight. And then I can't. And then we have to cook dinner too. I cook dinner during lunch.
And you make 3 different options, I hear. Like everyone
I
gets
do.
their own option.
Is
Like,
that-
bless
yeah.
your heart, Mega.
Okay, I know people say like you spoil your kid. It's like, yeah, but you know what? My kids respect me and love me.
Yeah.
I
And
get
you love it
adored.
and you enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I want to please them, and I want to make sure. My background, I am not grew up with my mom, so I don't have a relationship with my mom at all. And I grew up with my grandma, and I want my daughter to know that I'm here. I want them to love me how I want to love my mom, but I can't, because you weren't there for me.
And these simple acts of making like what they enjoy like makes you feel that way.
Yeah, and I like to in control, and I don't like to be needy, and I don't like to people need me, then I need them. So like, oh no, I can't do this, and I was like, no, I can't. I said, why not? I said, I just can't. I said, yes, you can. You're capable of it. But this is my fault too, because I've spoiled them, right?
Yeah.
So now they don't know what to do.
Also, spoiled's relative, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's
but
the way you show you love them.
Love them.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
care
okay.
how tired I am, I still get up. I go to bed like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 5:30 every day. And
All in the name of
this
love.
this past 3 weeks, I haven't had no caffeine.
Well, we brought you some and you didn't even take any.
See, that's the thing. I took off caffeine for 3 weeks, coffee.
I need to take off.
I need to take
And now I'm
off,
like,
too.
well, I have a full pre-workout, okay? That's
Okay.
Girl.
That's my caffeine.
Powerful
in the
stuff.
morning. Yes. Well, I need that, otherwise I won't lift this barbell.
Yeah. I love that you brought those things up, that you just kind of, you enjoy the home life. Like you enjoy taking care of your kids. Like you enjoy being needed. And I feel like that there are women here in this space who just enjoy being home and enjoy feeling needed. But before Aniston wants to take a nap and all of that, I kind of want to transition into Kasey and those type of women in this space who are literally running multiple things throughout the day. Like, yes, being a mom, running a business, being a wife to a top level rep. Like, I kind of want to know, like a lot of people, well, I don't even know who's listening to this, but tell us a little bit about your business, Kasey, and how you're able to still have a sense of identity while your husband goes and manages and does his own thing and you're at home with the little one.
Okay. Do you want to hang out with Aniston?
Oh my God.
You're the best.
I took her all week. You don't come home with me?
Okay, so having my own identity, that's a big one. I didn't necessarily prepare for this podcast, but it did have me thinking a lot about just mine and my husband's journey since like becoming so enmeshed in this sales life. Like I said, those conversations we used to set goals for the future. And I mean, we still do. We have to continue to check in on our goals and like ultimately, at the end of the day, in sales, you make a ton of money.
Yeah.
But that's not our goal.
Yeah.
It really isn't the money and like greed and what we can have. Like, it's not about cars. It's not about fancy homes. For us, it's about what are we going to be able to do for other people
Yeah.
with this wealth that we're accumulating. Are we going to be able to help our parents retire? Are we going to be able to help my family in the Philippines to start businesses so that they don't have to continue to live in poverty? Are we going to be able to help build schools so that children in the Philippines can get more education? Are we going to be able to help during natural disasters? And so at this time, we're young and we save these pennies that we're earning.
Yeah.
And my husband has blessed us with a very comfortable life. But my goals are, I have personal goals, my husband has personal goals, but our goals also support the goals that we have together.
Yeah.
But as we are different people with different interests, everyone makes fun of me for being like this hippie. Okay, like
They think you're hippie. I just think you're good at what you do.
kind of hippie. Like all my products in my home are non-toxic and stuff, and like
We all doing it though.
I'm just
We
like,
have
oh,
to
nice.
hit like 35. You can't eat anything else. Like you gluten free, you lactose intolerance. And I'm like, oh yeah,
You guys will outlive us, that's for sure.
yeah.
we try really hard to be healthy, but whenever Austin and I first got married, my mental health hit the fan. I had a different upbringing than my husband did growing up. I came from a very turbulent household. My husband's household was very peaceful. This is where I feel like Austin and I are so opposite, but we're so good for each other at the same time. Because when we used to talk, I asked him, I was like, so what are you like when you're angry? Because that was something that was really important to me, because people in my home were angry growing up.
Mind.
I can't have that. Like, I can't deal with it anymore. And he was like, I don't get angry. And to me, I was like, what? That's not normal. But being married to him for 5 years, this man does not get angry.
It's
And-
hard to get him angry. Yeah, just the same thing too.
They're just chill.
Yeah.
Very chill, and it's hard to get him.
That's why Austin and Justin will do so well in the same space.
He
I
was
know.
here. He's hate drama. So he
Yes,
just like,
that's Austin. He's still, there's this analogy where it's like, are you a can of soda when you're shaken up, or are you a bottle of water?
Yeah.
And Austin's a bottle of water, and I need that. But he keeps me grounded in my goals. My goals are not going to get us to our couples goals as fast as I would like, because obviously my husband's bringing in a lot more income.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, my biggest dream was to have a family and to be a good mother and to rewrite what I came from, because I used to have all this resentment towards my parents and just what we had to see growing up, but truly my parents are one of my biggest blessings, because of them, I'm providing a much better life for my daughter. I can be much more loving than what I received.
that's how I felt too.
Yeah, you get to rewrite your own story, but along the way, I have things that I'm fascinated in. I care a lot about women's health.
Yeah.
So women's health is so underrepresented. I did personal training for a while. I've done a lot of studying on how women's bodies work, whether that's through pregnancy, fitness, food. And I've learned to love the function of the human body, and so I try to create businesses.
I love that. If there's going to be one piece of advice, at the sake of Aniston, if there's going to be one piece of advice, Kasey, that you leave to newlyweds, this is going to be the best. Or do you want to give the bottle?
Oh yes, there you go. I'm so sorry.
Oh, there she goes. What would be one piece of advice that you would leave to newlyweds who are just packing up right now and getting ready for the summer, kind of like with their goal setting or whatnot? Like, what would be one piece of advice that you'd want to leave for newlyweds?
That your needs matter. It's going to be crazy. This lifestyle is crazy. But you kind of have to look at your needs as like a checks and balances. Don't be disrupting your partner during the day when they have to focus.
Yeah.
You need to support them in focusing. And so if there's something urgent, then maybe shoot them a text or give them a call. But if it's not urgent, it can wait till the end of the night or even the end of the week. And it's not being, it's not sacrificing. It's just becoming more mature in what matters, and be autonomous. Have things that you're interested in. Do not find your identity in your partner, because your identity is not found in them. Your worth is not found in them. Your worth was just given to you for existing, you know? And so find things that are going to bring you joy, and don't just chill by the pool all summer, you know?
I love that you said that. Like, be autonomous. Like, your manager, like your significant other did not give you your worth. Like, you determine it. But I want to leave with the last question from Mega. We can swap. What would be one piece of advice that you would want to leave for experienced married couples in this space who've been in the door-to-door space for a while? What piece of advice would you give them?
Just stick with the goal. You know, we set a goal a long time ago, and every time we sidetrack, and let's go and say, no, we have a goal. You know, we want to retire a certain way, you know, and then we have 3 girls, and, you know, those waiting not going to pay himself.
Yeah.
And, you know, I grew up with family is poor. You know, I grew up in Indonesia. I moved
You and
to
Kasey and I have that in common.
You know, so I want to provide. I told you, I want to provide my girls much as we could. Even when they're married, if they need help, I don't want to be turned away. I said, no, you're grown up. We're taking care of ourselves, you know. But I want us to be able to take care of them. So our goal is we will retire and, you know, like, live our life with our grandkids.
Yeah.
You know, like, remember this goal, you know, we want to retire, just be at peace, and then just literally build a house somewhere in the middle of nowhere and just chill out.
Yeah.
And take care of your grandkid. And I know it's hard. I've been there. It's hard traveling, taking care of the kid nights and days. I mean,
And hardly seeing them.
yes, and I hate when people say, like, oh, you only stay home mom. I am not just stay home mom. I am working 365 days.
You are the function.
And I'm a nurse. I'm a cook. I'm a housekeeper, you know, and I'm also have to nurture them.
Yeah.
And I always suggest and say, you know, like, as his job is very important, and I know that
And your job's very important too.
my job is important too. And it's just like I told him, like, if I screwed up now, my kid's gonna screw up when they grow up.
Yeah.
You know, and I see that. I've been there, done it. My mom is married, divorced, never seen her ever.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't want that mother, and I want, even though Justin is so busy with work, I make him like have a date with seeing every one of my girls.
I love that.
Just take a turn, you know, and
Yeah.
even to 5 years old.
Yeah.
They choose where they want to go. He took her to Target.
That's fun.
But you know, like, it's just, I tell him, like, it's a goal. It's hard, you know. I'm tell all the women, you know, like, just started.
Yeah,
It's
just
hard.
keep going.
But you also have to push your husband.
Yeah.
Believe in them. Don't like stopping them. Let them work.
Yeah, I love that. That's like what
Focus,
you guys are saying, like, in
because
common.
summertime especially,
Yeah.
they have to be focused. I went to Indonesia a few years ago for 2 months. Justin hit the best sale because we're not home.
Yeah, not home to bug him,
And
so
I
he's
don't,
out
yeah,
working.
and when he work, even now, I don't text him unless it's important.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I have to, like, somehow, you know, like, I have to go to the doctor right away, I call him, keep calling him and tell him that I need to come home now.
Yeah.
Other than that, if it's not like doctor or hospital visit, I didn't call him.
You let him do their thing.
Yeah, and
I
then
love
I will tell him when he get home, because why bother him right now?
Yeah.
You know, especially you guys know what he's doing right now, right?
Yeah, it's a ton.
This coding thing, you know, like, it's like, be focused. So I just
I love it. So
enjoy
just
the ride.
enjoy the ride.
It pays off, and you know it is true.
It does.
It pays off, you
Yeah.
know, and then you could retire comfortably.
Yeah. And so I love that you brought that up. So you said be able to, like, just have the same goals, just let them do them. But I love that the thing that we have in common between the three of us, it sounds like our childhood is the reason for us wanting to push our significant others. Like, we want to give back to the environment. We want to give back to our kids. We want to give back to each other. We want to give back. And so for those of you women who are getting ready for the summer, those of you women who have been having several plus years, like, our advice is just keep going. Just like Kasey said, be autonomous, her big word. Find value in yourself, worth in yourself. And just as Mega had suggested, is just having the same goals. A lot of times people are like, oh, money doesn't solve all the problems or issues, and it doesn't bring happiness. Yes, I agree. But what money and financial freedom from the door-to-door space will be able to provide in as far as like starting businesses, putting our children through colleges, being able to give back to our community. These are the type of happinesses and joys and differences that we can make as we take the time to allow our spouses or significant others to just truly focus on door-to-door and whatever it is that they may be doing in front of them. Before we get off, those of you who want to reach out to Kasey, she does a great job on leaving like online reviews about baby things, and all of you cute moms out there who are pregnant right now and are in door to door and kind of like, oh, what kind of things should I get? What kind of bottles? What kind of whatnot? You can find Kasey on Instagram. But what's your Instagram handle?
At Kasey and Stoker. It's Kasey, KaseyAnn Stoker.
So at Kasey Stoker. Kasey Ann Stoker?
Kasey
Ann Stoker on Instagram. Give her a follow. Like, she's always giving she just makes you think differently, but makes you feel good about thinking differently. So I love that. And then Mega, do you have an Instagram?
I do.
Okay, because most of us are on there. Yeah. So share with us your Instagram handle. For those of you women who've been in door-to-door for a while, kind of feel like you're in a rut and kind of just like want some advice on how to be able to get through the day, kind of get through the summer, through the goals, reach out to Mega. What's your handle?
My Instagram is Megawati.
Mega's husband owns a solar company, and her name is freaking Megawatt, pretty much. So.
Actually, my license plate was Megawatts, and then Justin license plate solar. So literally, it's 2-car park in the parking. It's like solar Megawatt. It's like, wow. So we were thinking our 17 years old daughter Jeep is gonna be Kilo.
So megawatt and kilowatts. I am dead with you too.
I mean, can you imagine? It's like we own solar company, so it's like all solar.
Only in the door-to-door space.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, Megawati. Thanks for tuning in this week, and I'll see you next week, friends. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. If I've added any kind of value to your thoughts on knocking doors, please share this podcast with another female rep. Until next time, know that you are capable, you are valued, and most importantly, you are enough.